This gonna piss a lot of y'all off listening.
Nigga, what?
But I just got to be very honest with it. When I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. If you in the sports, if you the leader of the team and the team loses, they gonna come at you, right? Because you the leader.
You the quarterback.
If we the leader of the community, and if black women are so out of control, or modern women are so out of control, then ain't that on us?
Yeah.
Like, didn't we drop the ball some fucking where?
What's up, guys? Welcome to Between the Sheets, where we take 12 years of marriage experience and give unsolicited advice to those who choose to enter our room.
All right, so tonight we found a video in the wonderful world of TikTok like we always do. And this video is asking the question whether or not black men have earned the right or the privilege to be able to hold black women accountable. So let's get into it.
This gonna piss a lot of y'all off listening.
Nigga, what?
But I just got to be very honest with it. When I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. If you in the sports, if you the leader of the team and the team loses, they gonna come at you, right? Because you the leader.
You the quarterback.
If we the leader of the community, and if black women are so out of control, or modern women are so out of control, then ain't that on us?
Yeah.
Like, didn't we drop the ball some fucking where? Because when I think about it, like, we are the least, if we're just talking about black men and black women, we are less educated than them.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the point where we even starting to make less money than them.
Yeah.
I don't think we even in a fucking position to hold them accountable. Hold each other accountable. Let them hold each other accountable, and then we kind of come back and meet in the middle.
You want me to go?
I mean, don't you always? Ladies first.
Okay. So, couple of things with this one. I love his analogy, the team versus the coach, right? And I even understand and agree with him to an extent on our black men having dropped the ball. But at some point, we have to recognize that, unfortunately, our women have formed a coup against the coach. So the coach can't lead somebody that don't want to be led. You can't coach somebody that don't want to be coached. As far as, black women leading in education and income, that still goes back to they don't want to be led. So we've branched out on our own. But you add to that the systemic problems that we face. We're born at the same rate for the most part, boys and girls. We were birthed into this world in the same percentage world. I don't know the word I'm looking for. But by the time we are college age, dating age, into our early to mid 20s, women outnumber men. Isn't it like 7-1?
I don't know.
It's a ridiculous number. But that is because of prison. It's because of death. And it's because of, what's the third thing?
I don't know. I'm letting you speak.
You're not helping me. Prison and death are the two main things. I'm not saying that all of our men who are in jail don't deserve to be there. But when you look at the conviction rate, when you look at the pressures that they face to provide for their families, and I'm not even just talking about, children and marriage. I mean, just siblings and their mom or even their dad, just there as a teenager, trying to, unfortunately, be the man of the house and the things that occur because of that. Please, please, please don't get me wrong. Black men, we need y'all to step up. We do. You have to step up because you're our leader. And without that lead, we kind of flapping in the wind, unfortunately. Now, I know that many of our black women, and y'all gonna probably be real mean in the comments, but this is the world that we live in. Y'all just don't want to be led. And unfortunately, you just gonna lead yourself off a cliff and just hang out there and be single with the rest of the women that don't want to be led. But you can't place all of the blame on the black man, because again, the black woman simply does not want to be led. Not all, because I know lots that want to be led. I'm one of them. I like having a head. I prefer being the neck. That works for me.
You know a lot.
I mean,
I'm gonna let you keep going. I just want to ask that question, but go
I
ahead.
don't like you.
Put a pin there.
The other thing he said was, let us black men hold each other accountable and black women hold each other accountable. Black men, good black men, y'all have a very good situation. You are allowed to hold your homeboy accountable because typically good black men circulate with good black men, and you can hold each other accountable. And the crappy ones, the deadbeats, the no good men, y'all hang with each other and y'all ain't gonna hold each other accountable, and y'all stay right on over there in your bubble. But unfortunately, women in general, not just black women, we don't hold each other accountable. We don't like to hurt each other's feelings. We don't want to offend anyone. We can get real catty, take offense to unsolicited criticism, and even sometimes if it's solicited criticism, you take offense and you get in your feelings and you don't want to hear it. And so it's a lot more difficult for a group of female friends to say, hey sis, you wrong in this. You shouldn't be doing this. This isn't right. This doesn't make sense. And don't get me wrong, there are some who you can absolutely go to each other, have those talks. But the vast majority of women in general, we don't hold each other accountable. That's why you look at these podcasts and these different comments and these conversations online, and it's women going off because how dare you say that? Who are you to say that? What makes you the person to say that? It's always, why can you tell me what to do, right? We don't listen to our elders anymore. We're disrespectful to them. You don't know anything because you too old. This ain't your time no more. Shut up talking to me. You don't listen to your friends because, girl, you're not walking in my shoes. You don't know the life I live. No. Feel free to jump on in.
I mean, I was just trying to let you drop your bars. I just kind of want to kind of go back to something you said in the very beginning. You said black men drop the ball. What do you feel black men drop the ball at?
One, the lack of them in our household. That's the major thing. I get divorced. It happens. I get this relationship isn't working out, so I don't want to be with you anymore. But men, you left your children, right? While I would love for everyone to be in a happy, healthy relationship together with their children, that's not the reality that we live in. But the moment men stopped fighting to be a part of their children's lives, that became a major downfall for our families.
So when you say fighting, what do you mean on that?
I mean literally fighting. Like, if she don't want to let you see your kids, there are other avenues, there are courts that you can go to. And I know you like to say, well, it's not enough money, or I don't have the money for that.
Well, it's not that much money. Well, for some it is. In some states it is. Some states I've seen where it costs a man $8,000-$10,000 to get his situation together.
So here's my next question. As men and leaders within our community, at what point in time are y'all gonna come together as men and say, hey, brother, I see it's a struggle. Why don't 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of us get together and start raising some money?
I mean,
putting in a pool.
I hear what you're saying.
Let's do this together. Let's all hire the same lawyer, right?
I hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna stop you because you're going off.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to give some ideas here.
I understand. The thing is this, right? You said in your spiel that you were going through, well, women say men need to hold men accountable. Or he was saying men need to hold men accountable, women need to hold women accountable. And then you went further and you said, all right, the men that are good hang with the men that are good. So we're able to hold each other accountable, which a lot of times is not really needed because we're holding ourselves accountable. But the men that are bad or the trash individuals are hanging with one another. So no one's holding anybody accountable in that. most of the time, the men that are exiting these situations are not the good men.
That's
So,
not true.
hold on. I'm going to say it again. Most of the time, the men that are exiting these situations and staying out of the child's life are not the good men. And you can say that's not true. And I'm not saying that the men that are exiting the situations are these hood dudes and all this kind of stuff. Sometimes they're just not the stand-up men of society. But generally speaking, the good men are staying in the scenarios where you have a divorce or a breakup. Now, there may be some good men that are leaving that situation and leaving the child there, right? But that is the exception and not the rule, because good men are not going to leave their child there in that situation without trying to be a part of their life. And you can look up the stats on that, because black men in general are the highest in percentages at raising their own kids, the highest to read them books at night, the highest to be at home, in the home with them, eating dinner, having talks with them, picking them up from school. You can look up the stats on that. So this trope that's going around that black men just simply leave their kids and are in the house, that's not true.
That
That's
wasn't what I was saying.
I know that's not what you're saying. I'm talking about in general, because that's what's being painted of us. But what you were saying is you're leaving your kids there and you're not fighting for them. But the big question, because a lot of women say that, and I know you don't think like most women, but the question I would have to pose to you and most women is this: why, in those situations, this first question, would you need to fight to be able to see your kid, the person that you helped make? Like, why is the woman in that situation making it so difficult for me to see the kid that I have to literally go and get Caucasian people, the state, and bring the government in to be able to see the child that I created?
I agree.
So as see, a while back, I'm sure that men would have tried harder, but now as we age and minds start to shift and ideations start to grow in the wrong directions, a lot of times men decide, you know what, self-preservation. I understand that I did create this child. I'm not saying this is right, but in the spirit of preserving my mental capacity, I'm just going to walk away from this because she got it, because she keeps telling me she got it, and she keeps pushing me away, and she keeps blocking me from doing what I'm trying to do. So basically what you're saying is I need to go bring white people into the middle of our co-parenting situation just so I can see my kid. I don't want to have to fight in a situation like that. I already am fighting the world. I don't want to fight you.
I get that.
But again, then the next situation is this. If we understand that these are not the good men doing this, because I think a good man would definitely probably go to court and try to get the kid. And 9 times out of 10, he's probably going to be awarded visitation. But why I got to fight for
Every other
visitation?
weekend.
That's trash. But also the other thing is this. If we understand that the majority of these men that are exiting these situations are not men of good standing, good character,
I stand by the fact that I don't agree with
why
that.
are we procreating with these types of men? You don't agree with what? The fact that the majority of them are not good character?
No, I think that,
What-
now please don't get me wrong. I think absolutely there are some bad guys out there. There are a lot of bad guys out there who are making babies and are simply not being in their children's lives. But I think that a lot of times the men are simply tired of fighting.
Okay.
They just don't want to fight anymore. And I get it, but at the same time, that's your child.
But you know what's
How
crazy?
do you stop fighting for your child?
You know what's crazy about that?
And I agree that it's insane that they have to fight to begin with.
No, that's not what I'm about to say. What's crazy about that is, and I hear you, because I would ask that same question too, because I don't know what I would do in that situation. So
I would never put you in that situation.
and I'm not talking about me, I'm just talking about in general. Like if I was out and I was dating and I had accidentally slipped up and ended up in a situation like that, But what's crazy about it is women, and obviously you are doing it too because you have been indoctrinated into this societal mindset that we have in the new age. The crazy thing about it is women keep making statements like you just made.
Like what?
How could you not fight for your child? Well, here's the thing, right? One, I didn't carry the child inside of me for 9 months, so I don't have the bond that you have, right? That's first and foremost. Second, women would never have to figure that out because the majority of the time the child is with them. So you ain't got to fight. And most of the time when the child ends up with the dad, the mother does not fight.
I get that too.
So being able to make that statement is wild because you, the majority of the time, would never see a woman in that situation. But I guarantee you, if the woman was somehow able to actually be empathetic in this situation and see it from the man's standpoint, based off the things that I just listed, they would be able to understand why men would not want to keep fighting with this person that's supposed to be the mirror of me.
I understand that as a man, you don't want to keep fighting. I get that. We're going to take it all the way back to before the child even came, because we say this to women all the time.
Right.
Pick better.
Right. I agree.
You shouldn't be laying with somebody
I agree 100%.
you don't want to have kids with.
I agree 100%.
Get to know these people before you have kids with them.
Yes.
But in the instance that you end up in this situation, I don't care. There's nothing you can say to me or explain to me as to why you don't keep fighting for your child.
I don't think that is right at all. I don't think that the man should leave the child. That's my opinion. But I do empathize with the men that decide to leave in those extreme cases and decide to, you know what, I'm not trying to go to court. I'm not trying to keep fighting with this lady that is running my life ragged. But this goes back to what you said. Men, you need to have some discipline. Like, don't be laying with these women that are, well, we know what these women are. You realize what they are when you're dealing with them.
But
now,
sometimes you don't realize who they are until you're going through a divorce or a breakup.
Exactly. Now, but in divorces though, how many times do now when the child has been with the dad, how many times do those dads in those divorces now dip out and completely leave the child? No, you're not.
I mean, he ain't completely leave, but
Right. So stop the cap. You're not a product of that because your dad did not completely leave. You still had contact.
yeah.
Now, I'm talking about the dads that don't deal with the kid, period.
My older brother would be a product of that.
So he didn't deal with him at all?
No.
Interesting.
No.
But
But
is
what?
that the rule though?
No, it's not the rule.
Exactly.
But
See,
there are
pause.
I know
I'ma let you go into it.
multiple situations where
The husband got divorced. The husband divorced, was living in the house with the child, and
Before the
then
divorce.
completely deleted the child out of his life. Completely.
yes.
You know several situations like
I
that.
know. I can't say completely deleted the child out of their life,
Exactly.
but has very minimal contact with the child.
Okay, but did not completely get lost.
No.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the dad completely.
But here's the thing. Just because you have some contact does not mean that you are
No.
an effective part of that child's
No,
life.
it doesn't.
That still causes issues.
It does.
So you still proving my point. We need our daddies in our house.
We do need the dads in the house, right? But that also comes along with cooperation.
It does,
If
100%.
if you can't cooperate with the man, then there won't be the dads in the house. Now, on the flip side,
I get that you don't want that fight, but at the same time, you still need to be a part of your child's life because they still need both sides of them.
So
Even if you can't get along with the woman, even if the woman can't get along with the man, whatever, that child still needs both parties in their life.
Yeah.
Period. There's no getting around. I don't care. When you have a child, your wants and needs go out the window.
Yeah, you can't be selfish.
Period.
I agree. I don't have a disagreement with the fact that the dad needs to be in the house. But to say that black men have dropped the ball in that way,
I think that's the first part where they dropped the ball.
But see, the thing is though, we keep saying they. What size of the black male population is doing this?
I don't have statistics.
Exactly. That's the problem. And
I know that the majority of our households are led by women.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? The majority of the household are led by women. But when we think about the statistics on the matter, right? The number of men that are actually leaving these scenarios, causing these issues and leaving these scenarios and not being involved, right? We need to figure out the percentage on that because that's not most men. And the problem is
you're talking about it's not men who are leaving?
No, I'm saying it's not most men that are causing these issues. When we take in the totality of the black male race, right? The percentage of black male in that particular number of the whole, what is the percentage of black men that are actually doing this, what you're describing, impregnating the woman and completely leaving her destitute with this child?
They ain't even got to be destitute. It's just leaving them with the child.
Leaving them with the child in general. But how many are doing that and having no contact, one, with the child and not helping the mom and then just out here living their best life? I don't think the percentage of men that are doing that is what you think, because a lot of times you got take into account this too. The majority of the men that end up doing that have multiple baby mothers.
I get that, but I want to pause for 1 second because you keep going back to the men who are just completely not in their child's lives.
That's not
the only thing I'm talking about.
Right,
if you're not in the same home with your child, then that is a problem.
Okay. That is a problem, but whose problem is that?
It's just both of y'all's problem.
Exactly. It's both of their problem but you're working this into, this is where men have dropped the ball.
It is where men have dropped the ball. Hear me out. It's where men have dropped the ball because they're supposed to be our leaders. And we're talking about way back, listen to me, way back before it was the normal thing for men not to be in the household, right? So if we took 100 couples, right? And we say 75% of them stayed together and 25% of them were apart. So we have 25% of I'm throwing out numbers here, 25% of our black community who are living in single parent households led primarily by women, right? Then they have their children. And these children are growing up and they're seeing, oh, well, my mom is here by herself. So, hey, I can do it by myself too. Or for the male child, that woman don't need my help to raise this child. She can do it on her own. So now we have another generation of 100 families from that 25 families without a dad. So of that 100, now we got 50% of them. It's a trickle down effect.
And I don't disagree with you on that. I don't know why you think I would disagree with that. Obviously, I see where that could cause a problem. But the issue is, you are wrangling in the men who leave their girlfriend, baby mama, whatever you want to call them, who leave them with the kid and don't have any contact. You're wrangling them in with the men that are simply not in the home with the child, but still have contact. But you're saying they all have dropped the ball. Those men, those black men have dropped the ball. Because I asked you in the beginning, how have black men dropped the ball? And you said, well, by leaving their kids and not fighting for them. Okay, so we look at the men that don't have the contact. And then we look at the men that are just simply not in the home, but still have the contact, still are great dads. I see them, I get them 2 weeks out of the month. The mom has them 2 weeks out of the month. It's a half time thing. Or if we're co-parenting and we see them multiple times during the week, right? All of those men are in that pot from what you're saying, because you're saying they're not in the home. But outside of the men that have completely left the kid, right? The other men, I think that those men are the majority of the men that are not with the kid, not in the house with the kid. I think those are the majority that we have out here. It's not them that have dropped the ball. It would be both parties that have dropped the ball. So we can't simply say black men have dropped the ball because of that situation. But the other thing about that is this. Them not being in the house is not on them. And it's not solely on them. In some cases, it might be. I don't know. But if there's no cooperation from the woman who you said should be being led because he's a leader, and if that woman does not want to be led, why in the world am I going to stay in the house with this person? Right? I'm here trying to work things out, but you're fighting against me. I don't have to stay in this relationship with you. And the reason I say that like that is because women have no problem initiating divorce the majority of the time. And it's okay in society for women to just opt out whenever they want, for whatever reason they want. Don't ask a woman why she left. It's no reason to ask her, because that's her business, and stay out of a woman's business. But if a man decides to opt out of a situation like this, he's a deadbeat.
No.
Yes, society says he's a deadbeat. So so you have coupled this type of man in with that situation and said that they have dropped the ball. No, ma'am, they have not dropped the ball. Both parties have dropped the ball in this situation because they failed to be able to work it out. But each situation is different because it depends on which side was the complete failure. Like if I'm trying to work something out and you're toxic, whichever side is the most toxic is the one that really dropped the ball. If I am a man, if I am a man who does not shout, who does not argue, and you're forever arguing and shouting and you don't trust me and all this stuff, you're toxic, and I'm not about to stay in this situation. So because I'm a man, society will look at me and be like, this dude is weak. This dude is a trash dude. He left this woman with this kid. Well, actually, I did leave the building. I left the house, but I actually see my kid the same amount of time that she sees the kid. He lives with her half the month. He lives with me half the month.
We're going to find the statistics on that, because I don't think that is typical. Typical is what you find is in every other weekend and like 2 weeks in the summertime.
Okay, and that's visitation.
Right.
That has been awarded to him by courts.
I understand that, but that's still.
So what does he do about that?
Go back and fight for better visitation.
Get out of here. You're being ridiculous right now. And if other women are thinking like that, then I have to say that y'all being ridiculous too. Because in this situation, you're saying, I don't care what happens.
I don't.
You better fight for your child.
Okay,
and that's like, and he's fought for the child. And this is what the court saw fit to award him. So he said, you know what? I'm going to take it because I'm done fighting for this.
Okay, fine. I'm going to agree with you. I will, I can't think of the word, but I'm going to agree with you, right?
Concede?
Yes, I'm concede. I concede. You are correct. Two things, okay? Pick better. Because what we say, women are the gateway to sex, but men are the gateway to relationships. So, ain't no relationship unless you allow it, basically.
Unfortunately,
Oh, Lord.
a lot of these kids are not born in relationships,
I know. It sucks.
but we're going to exclude that percentage
Yes,
out. So
let's
we'll just talk
exclude
about
that.
the relationships.
Here's my other thing. Because of the reality that we live in, black men, can y'all go and become family court lawyers and judges?
No, no, because there's no need for them to do that, because what needs to happen is people need to cooperate.
They do. I agree. I agree.
Listen to me, everyone. Black men and black women need to start getting on the same page and start cooperating so that we don't keep damaging kids and creating this cycle.
I have to agree with that.
That's what needs to happen.
But right now, that's not the reality that we live in.
I don't care if that's not the reality that we live in. That's why I said we need to do this. The thing is this, right? No, they don't need to get in family court, because the court should not be in the relationship at all. The government has no business, the state has no business being inside of your relationship with your significant other or your baby mama or your ex or your ex-wife or your divorcee, whatever the freak you want to call these people. If you created a child with this person, then y'all need to work it out. In some cases, it's not going to be worked out, but there is a child still involved. So y'all need to step up to the plate and do what needs to be happening.
But that's not the reality that we live in. And unfortunately, we're going to need more people that look like us in the courtrooms to help settle these matters.
In the courtroom, in what respect, though?
As the lawyers and the judges.
Oh, you want them as the judges?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
So you want black men to be, you don't really want black men to start being judges in these situations.
Yes, I do.
Women, I don't think y'all want black men to start being judges in these situations.
I'm sure a lot of them don't, but I think it would be more equitable.
But you know what else is happening, though? A lot of women are saying, women, y'all need to get those kids to that man and let him raise them. Let him raise the kids, since he want to cry about child support and all this kind of stuff. Y'all don't want to do that. Y'all going to say, yeah, we do need to give the kid. And I don't think most men would want to take a child full time. But I think a lot of them would in these situations where they're actually trying to fight for the kid. And that might be an option, might be the better thing to do. I don't really know. But to go back to what he was saying, when he said that men need to hold men accountable, women need to hold women accountable, just like you said, good men usually hang with good men. Birds of a feather flock together. These trash individuals, these bad men, hang with the bad men. Birds of a feather flock together. So if I'm a good man and I'm hanging with other good men, like I said earlier, we are holding each other accountable. But who's to hold the trash man accountable? The other trash man? No. But then the other thing is, we love yelling out, not we. When I say we know what we're talking about. Y'all need to hold other black men accountable and don't worry about women. Okay, cool. We're not going to worry about y'all. But my question is, what would y'all like us to do with the men that are unfavorable for society? Like the men that you call trash, the men that you call bad men. Like, what do you want the good men to do to hold them accountable exactly? Because the thing that most good men do to hold those men accountable is excommunicate them from our groups. When they start doing things that we don't think is expedient or respectful to women and to the society, they are out of here. We don't hang with them. We don't do business with them. We don't do anything with these individuals. We leave them to their own devices. But it seems like y'all want us to do something else. You want us to fight them? Like, what in the world? What do you want us to do about these people? But he also said the other thing, and I'll go along with what you said earlier. Women hold women accountable. How? Some of y'all do. I see a lot of sisters out there trying to hold other women accountable. But the thing is, society has empowered women so much to where no one can say anything to y'all. Y'all eat other women alive. Y'all call them pick-me's. And y'all call them enemies. Y'all call them anything under the sun. Oh, I don't even know what type of language y'all be using to describe the women that are trying to tell you truthful things from men's point of view. Just because they are empathetic and they are able to listen to what some men are saying.
It ain't even gotta be men's point of view. It's just life in general.
But like you said, where are the elders? Y'all
don't want to talk to them.
The elderly women that would normally hold space for the history of the community and to pass down wisdom, where are they? Like, the grandmas right now are out hanging with the daughters. Like,
I know grandma's my age,
so my question is, like, how do women hold other women accountable? I don't know how
do we create that space? How do we as women allow ourselves to be criticized by other women?
I don't know how possible that is.
Criticism.
I don't know how possible that is, because I think a lot of women are, I don't want to say fearful, but are, they kind of stay away from trying to say too much to women because they realize the backlash that they get when they say these things. But the women that like to really hold women accountable, they're like the good men. They don't hang around the women that they need to hold accountable. Like, I don't want, listen, the women that are holding women accountable, I speak on behalf of all men, all right? And men, if you don't like what I'm saying, I'm sorry, bros. But we don't want y'all to fight those women. We just want y'all, like, just work with the men that are the good men. That's all.
But I'm about the good women only hanging with the good women.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Most friend groups have a wide variety of women, and it's not just good women hanging with
the
good
smart
women.
good women, the good women that don't want to be pulled down or that don't want to take on bad habits of other women. Those are the women that I'm talking about. I understand that there are a bunch of women that you have a good woman, and then you got the one that everybody like to call the HOE, right? We got the one
hostile one.
We got the toxic one. We just a wild array.
But the good woman in that group is attempting in some type of way to hold the less than good women accountable by example.
Okay, so we're gonna do the nation. Right? We're gonna say, all I got to do is hold a clean glass up to a dirty glass, and the dirty glass gonna condemn itself. That does not work with women. It only works with men. Because women, again, have been empowered by society to think that anything they do, as long as they're a woman, it does not matter. Now, because somebody is gonna come and say, you know what? You go, girl. You right. Yes. Do what you want to do. Be your own woman. So that doesn't work in this situation. You can't just hold them accountable by the example. That might work for some, but for the most part, do you, boo? That's what that's going to be. And I'm going to keep doing me. So you have to use words to say this. And I mean, I don't know, because you think about situations like Ayanna Van Zandt. When she tries to say things about black women, they have devoured her. She doesn't have a show anymore because of women devouring her. She left that situation because she was getting so much hate from black women. And she was only trying to help. Then you say, well, a lot of them say, well, I don't like the tone of some people. Okay.
Sometimes you gotta get past the tone and take the message.
Sometimes you do, but I get it, because I don't like the tone of some people either. But the thing is, who is this? Hey, my sweet babies. Who talks to y'all like that? Monique. And y'all hate her.
Drug this
When
woman
she
through the
said
mud.
something about the bonnets, and look, you wear the bonnets if you want to.
Don't wear them bonnets out in public.
I don't agree with it.
Say what you want to
but
say.
That's your
Stop
head.
wearing them bonnets out in public.
That's
Look a
your
mess.
head. That's your head. But when she said something about the bonnets, and she said it in the sweetest way
She
possible.
did. And
Hey,
I was with her, and
hey-
I'm still with her on that
Hey,
one.
my babies, those bonnets when y'all come out the house, we gotta
They be
come
dirty
on,
and-
fix your
come on
hair.
now.
Fix your hair and, just come. You in public, baby. Said it with a smile and a love. And she said it that way because she understands black women. She understands you cannot come to them with any type of tone or you are going to be eaten. She said it like that because if anybody knows Monique, we know that Monique is a firecracker when she wants to be one. So she understands completely how she needs to address black women. But some black women took it, but a lot of them were pretty pissed at her.
It was a whole bonnet movement.
Right. So the thing is this, and y'all just need to leave us alone. Hey, that's what it is. So in mass, no one, women or men, can hold black women accountable. And listen, as a man, it's really not our place to be trying to hold y'all accountable. Y'all really should be able to do that y'all self. But if you don't listen to other women, who are you gonna listen
We
to?
have to take a page from Michael and start with the man or woman in the mirror.
Yeah, but you're not gonna tell yourself a lot of things. But see, that's where therapy comes in, and you have to that's what's gonna cause you to look in the mirror to therapy. But you're not gonna go to therapy for things you don't think you need therapy for. So, yeah, and you said earlier that men are supposed to be the leaders, right? But I can't lead you if you don't want to be led. You said
agree.
it was a coup.
I agree.
We gonna do it ourselves. We don't need y'all anymore. So get out of here. We're not willing to be led. Who are y'all gonna lead? Y'all gonna lead us to hell. So no, I cannot agree with black men were the ones that dropped the ball. I cannot completely agree with that. In some cases, yes, we did not carry out the things that we need to carry out, for sure. But the state of our relationships right now is just not solely on black men. Black women have a large part to play in that as well. It can't just be
It's
on the
both
black man.
sides, period. There's no getting around it.
It's
It is
both.
both sides.
It's 100% both. And my thing is this, it seems to be, because if he's saying that we dropped the ball somewhere, which was way back when. Or
I
whatever,
would love to hear how he thinks men dropped the ball.
I would assume probably what you thinking. We didn't protect, we didn't provide, we didn't do all this stuff.
Interested to know his thoughts.
But what was I about to say?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
You threw me off.
My bad. I
Go ahead,
apologize.
it'll come back.
I'm sorry. That was my only question.
So what I was going to say was this. It seems to be, when we're talking about history and where things got started, it seems to be that there is some sort of, I don't know, something in the minds of women that has been there for decades, that black men didn't protect them during things like slavery or the Jim Crow era and all this kind of stuff.
So you think generational trauma?
Yes, I think that's
Genetic generational trauma?
Yes, I think that's being passed down. And also, I think black women are looking at the fact that black men are still under the thumb, so to speak, of white society. Y'all are not at the top. White men are still doing better than y'all. So who are y'all gonna lead if y'all can't get from up under these these white people. Like, y'all can't lead us. We coming out of it faster than y'all. We the most educated. We making more money than y'all.
But imagine if we did that together.
These men don't want to do that together.
They do, though,
They don't
but they
want.
do.
They don't want a woman with a career.
I mean,
They don't want
in
an
this day and age,
educated
you
woman.
you got no choice. You can't do it on one income no more.
They don't want an educated woman.
Not possible.
They want a stupid woman.
No.
So that they can control them.
No.
That's
It's not about
true.
control at all.
Men simply don't fancy your degrees because it doesn't necessarily help in every situation. In some relationships it does, but a lot of times when this situation comes about, we are talking about women who are saying they want a certain type of man, and a lot of times that certain type of man isn't fancying the plethora of degrees. Do they want you to be stupid? No. Do they want you to have some smarts? Yes, they definitely do, because you can't be fumbling the bag. You got to be able to keep the money straight. Like, you can't just be frivolously spending all the money.
I agree.
You got to
with
be able to also add something to the relationship, add ideas. Like, how can we grow what we have? Like, you gotta have a brain. They don't want you stupid, but they will tell you, okay, well, I'm glad that you have what you have, but it doesn't necessarily help me, especially if it's not tied to the industry that I'm in.
But we are not a podcast for the 1%ers. We are
No.
a podcast for the average, everyday American couple.
We are 100% a podcast for them, but the problem with the situation is a lot of times the average American woman wants the 1%er.
Well, get over it, because what you gonna get is an average American man. Period. Let that dream die. Okay, just stop the madness.
But some of them can.
Some of them can, but the vast majority of them are
I was
not.
being sarcastic.
Some of them can. That's just the honest truth.
Yeah,
it's a very small percentage. The majority of you are either going to end up single or with an average man because you are an average woman, and that is okay.
That is 100%
and
fine.
In that tax bracket, both of y'all need a job. And unfortunately, some degrees, because a lot of times degreeless jobs don't pay that well.
Unless you're an entrepreneur and you know how to build from the ground up
Right.
and something else. But yeah, I mean, again, like she just said, average is fine, because the vast majority of people are average.
And when you run into two average people, then y'all can get out of the average tax bracket and, go on up together, because upper middle class is all right. Ain't nothing wrong with upper middle class. Ain't nothing wrong with middle class. It's becoming a struggle to be middle class.
Yeah,
It is.
Middle class is struggling.
You might, okay. Upper middle class.
Even upper middle class is becoming a struggle for some people.
It is, but it ain't. But that's what we are, like, as a society.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I understand. But which brings us to another point. Because this is where we are as a society, this should let you know we actually really need each other.
Desperately. Y'all seen rent lately? You need 2 incomes to pay that rent.
Yeah.
Period.
We need each other, and we gotta get to the point to where we're not fighting.
Got to. We
all
have
the
got to
time.
come together.
And I'm sure y'all probably watched this particular podcast or this particular episode and was like, he blaming the woman, she blaming the man. Look at them, they married and they're fighting. No,
not fighting.
we're having a discussion, and we have these discussions regularly.
Yes, we do.
And it's
And
nothing
sometimes
wrong.
we don't agree.
Right. It's nothing wrong with having differing opinions. And that makes it actually interesting. But having the differing opinions and being able to actually communicate them effectively and not argue is where
I think that's where the disconnect is.
right.
For a lot of people, you feel like just because you don't agree on something, oh, we can't make this work.
Right.
We don't agree on a lot of stuff.
Right. And when you look at social media, that's what you see. A lot of disagreeing. So again, listen, men did not drop the ball somewhere. And women did not necessarily drop the ball somewhere. But if anybody dropped the ball, it was both of us.
I think both of us dropped the ball. I think that is a definite.
That's what I just said.
No, you said men did not drop the ball somewhere and women did not drop the ball somewhere. But if anybody,
right?
No, everybody dropped the ball.
Listen,
the ball fell out of nobody caught it. Period. It's on the ground rolling.
Well,
everybody need to pick it up.
That's no. We not everybody need to pick it up. We need to pick it up together.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And keep it moving. Because right now we are rolling backwards and we need to be going forward, especially if we want to make sure that the future is better for the kids, because they watching this, y'all.
They are.
They can see all of this infighting that we got going on, and
when you think they're not listening and watching, that's when they really turn into sponges and soak it all up.
100%. But yeah, it's been a good talk. Do you have anything else to say?
Nope. I look forward to y'all comments. Just like, chill out. Don't be completely rude and nasty about it, okay? We can have a conversation, a discussion. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. That's it.
Peace.
Good night.